Big Ed here, and today I'm bringing you the Ruger American chambered in 30-06 Springfield. This rifle I picked up at Dick's a couple weeks ago, and I've been testing it for the last 4 or 5 days now, and today we're going to do the final review on this puppy. So we'll start out with the barrel. We have a 22-inch barrel right here. It's a 1 in 10 twist. It's a bolt action centerfire rifle. It's got a detachable magazine system on it, and that's one thing I like on this rifle. We'll get back to that later. It's got just a cheap plastic stock, but remember, this is Ruger's affordable rifle, so somebody, to make it affordable so somebody can get into a centerfire rifle for less than $400. When I got and it's also got a rubber butt pad on it. When I pulled this rifle out of the box, you get your little lock that you can throw through the bolt action, to lock it so the rifle can't be fired and you can't manipulate the bolt. And it did not come with the rings, and it did not come with the scope. My first thing I wanted to do with this rifle was to buy a Leupold VX1 and bolt it on top of this thing, and that's a $200 scope. I decided not to do that, and I really wanted to, and really dial in the accuracy of this rifle and see what this puppy could do. But the reason I didn't do that is because most people that buy these rifles will not do that. Most people that buy these rifles are going to put cheap scopes on them. They're going to go to Walmart, they're going to go to Dick's, and they're going to buy something that's on the rack, not even behind the counter, that's hanging up in a little plastic thing. And they're going to put, anywhere from probably a $20 to a $50 scope on here, and 50 is probably even stretching it. So I decided to take off the Bushnell scope right there that was on the Savage Axis that I also bought at the same time for reviewing and testing purposes, and put it on this, and I thought that was a very fair comparison. This is also the second one of these I have. I have one on my Savage Model 92. And so this actually is a pretty good scope, and this is a budget scope. It's a $50 scope. I'm guessing it's a 3x9 by 40, and it works. So let's go over the rifle. One thing that Ruger got right on this is just detachable magazine system. This thing is fantastic right here. This is a rotary magazine, and it holds 4 rounds right there. It's plastic. It looks cheap. It is cheap, but it works. And I really like that. And obviously, if you know Ruger 1022s, Ruger is very good at making rotary magazines. And this has got a metal follow in there, but the rest is just all plastic. Got a little spring mechanism for the release right there. But wow, is this thing good. This thing works great. And fits in there. You can hear the click. It's brainless, it works great. So I got to give a hands up to Ruger on that. Also, the trigger on here, trigger's not half bad. It's not, it looks like the AccuTrigger on the Savage. It's not, that's just a little safety tang right there. So that's got to be depressed to fire the rifle. Next, the rifle has your safety right there. So the bolt's got to be, it's got to be cocked for safety to go on. So you can see it's on safe right there. Push it up, and I like the safety on there. That's pretty standard. So when you're holding the rifle, it's right where it's a good place for it. Next, let's take out the magazine while we're talking about it. Also, the bolt release right here. Take your bolt back. You can see that little lever right there. Push that, and your bolt slides right out. That's nice right there. Some other rifles will have 2 things you got to press, but this one only have to press 1. Also, I like this bolt. It's a behemoth of a bolt, but this is a long action rifle, so it's going to be longer than short action bolts that I'm usually used to. But as you can see, this is a nice one big fat piece bolt right there. I like it. It's nicely polished. Another thing, take a look at. It's 3 lugs. This is a 3-lug lockup rifle right there, and it's only, I believe it's a 60-degree bolt throw. So when you're throwing the bolt up and down, reloading it, you're only moving at 60 degrees. Also, that's probably going to aid with accuracy of this rifle too, because this rifle is accurate. But I am impressed. The machine marks are pretty much non-existent on this thing. It's a lot of bolt, and it shows it when you go ahead and cycle this rifle, that you can feel the quality that Ruger put into this and how smooth this thing cycles. It is nice. Even when you're loading the ammunition to it, it's nice. So I want to say this rifle right here, I believe retailed at Dick's for It was $380, and that was without the scope and rings. And so, but it did come with the bases, and the bases were already screwed onto it. So these rings were $20. You know, I'd recommend putting at least a $50 scope on there to take advantage of this rifle. But one other thing I'd like to mention quickly about this is, if you handed me this rifle and I shot it, I would probably think this was a $500 rifle. The only giveaway that it's a, you know, less expensive rifle is the stock. This stock is definitely cheap and plastic. As you can see, the barrel is free floated right there, but you can just take your thumb right there and your fingers and just mush it around, and you know, but it does work well. The recoil pad is also very good. It's this real soft, mushy rubber stuff, and the recoil pad definitely works excellent. It's sticky. Some guys are going to complain that it sticks to their clothes, but I like it, and this thing soaks up a ton of recoil, because a light hunting rifle like this Ruger American with 30-06, especially shooting some big bullets on 180s or something in that nature, is going to kick hard. You know, it's going to have a good amount of recoil to it, and this just soaks it right up and makes it nice and makes it really pleasant to shoot. I could shoot this rifle all day if I could afford to, but it is nice. Next, you got sling swivel studs down here. You got one on your stock right there, and you got one on your forend right there. So you could mount a bipod on this. Could mount, you know, a sling. Most people are going to put slings on this because they're going to hunt with this rifle, and they're going to throw it over their shoulders. But you know, it's excellent. And I've been shooting 150 grain bullets through this rifle right now, and I've been having excellent results. I haven't been buying really expensive ammo. I've been buying the Remington Core-Lock 150 grain ammunition, and I sighted the rifle in at 25 yards the other day, and then I brought it back here, and this range right here I'm at is not a true 100 yards. It's 85, and I've ranged it, so we're a little shy of that. But as you can see, my target right up there, I got one flyer, and then I got 3 bullets right there. So I came here this morning, shot once because I knew my zero would be a little off, adjusted it up and to the right. Next one was on the bullet hole, shot 2 more after that with the Core-Lock. They're not quite touching, so I'm gonna call that group right there just offhand an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter top. So this gun is inch and a quarter, inch and a half MOA, which is excellent for a hunting rifle. And for your price point right here, it's a great rifle. My final recommendation on this is, I think out of all the budget centerfire rifles I've ever shot, this is the best one. You're getting the best bang for your buck. You are paying a little bit more for it. You can get other rifles that include rings and the scope. This does not come with that. You're gonna have to buy that separately. So the cheapest you're gonna get into this rifle for, I mean, even if you put a $20 or $30 scope on it and put $10 rings on it, is gonna be in the low to mid 4s. You're gonna be at this, you know, this rifle's price point. But it's a lot of rifle for the buck, and the quality's there. It is good, and some cheap rifles and cheap guns I don't like. You can see all my other reviews. I definitely stray away from mostly cheap guns, and I have others that I've done reviews on, and I don't like them. This is okay. This is acceptable in my book right here, and I'm enjoying shooting this thing. And you know, 30-06 packs a punch too, but great hunting rifle. You know, also if you are a Remington 700 guy, or you know, a Ruger Mark 77 guy, Hawkeye guy, your Savage Model 10, Model 11, Model 12, all those rifles, you know, I could go on forever. You know, this might not be the gun for you, but it's pretty close, but I'm going to recommend this highly right here, but it does cost a little more. I don't think it's quite a true budget rifle, but it's close. You know, because it does cost more than other rifles. But so folks, as you can see, this thing's a ringer when it comes to accuracy. You know, what a great rifle. Is it a true budget rifle? I don't know. It's going to cost you more to get into this than an Axis, because the Axis is going to come with a scope. Even some of the Remingtons, I think the 783s come with scopes on them. You know, and rings already set up. You know, some of that stuff you have to watch out for. The rings, I've noticed, cheap rings are bad. And if you buy these rings for $20, spend $20 on Leopold rings at Dick's. don't buy this cheap, crappy, you know, super cheapo rings. But thanks for watching, folks, and if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. You know, feel free to ask questions. Love to respond to them. Also, I have a review coming up of the Ruger American versus Savage Axis, so you know, keep an eye out for that, but that should be a good one. And folks, I want to thank you for watching again.